Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live from the living room. I have another guest today. This should be fun. I'm with a world renowned traveler.
Okay.
She has her passport book stamped up. Um, she likes to get out and travel a little bit, and she knows a little bit about a lot, I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be some sort of education given to me, and I guess you guys as well. We're going to have a little fun with it and to see where it goes. I have Britt on the show today. How you doing?
I'm great.
Hey,
yourself?
JayRich.
I'm good. I'm in my element. I'm in my space, my safe space. So I'm really good. So first question I always like to lead with, do you have a crazy Waffle House story, or in your case, crazy airport story?
I've been to a few Waffle Houses. I feel like everyone has these horror stories, and I feel like I've had pleasant experiences at Waffle House.
Yeah.
Like besides like the normal mold and grime or whatever around the restaurant.
Oh no, that's
that's standard.
That's
like that's nothing.
That's seasoning.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any real crazy stories like that, at least that I could say to the world without like putting out other people. I remember once.
Take out the names. Just take out the names.
Once in Puerto Rico, I learned how to parallel park from a homeless guy. That was really nice because I'm still using those skills today.
Really?
Yes. Shout out to whoever you are, sir. He earned that $1.
That's all you gave him was $1. He saved you hundreds in insurance.
I mean, number one, it was unsolicited advice, but I'm very appreciative of it.
Oh, did he see you struggling and he came and knocked on the window? How'd he do?
It was like, you know, some of them are a bit aggressive where it's like this is their job, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So yes, like me and my best friend went there, you know, like this is a year after graduation. So we got our little big girl jobs and got a little bit of coin. Mm-hmm. So we take like a official girls trip. And it's a big deal because we're so sheltered. So our families never really would let us go nowhere. So it's like, we're going here. We don't know nobody. This is us. Like, we're going to figure it out. Like, we've never been to Puerto Rico. Like, it's going to be lit. So we're in, like, San Juan, and we want to go to this, like, bar, restaurant, whatever. And we're trying to parallel park. And at first, like, it's a struggle. This homeless guy is just chilling, sees us in danger, or more so distress. Like, it's not like we're going to get stabbed.
Yeah.
And he just jumps out, and he's like, no, back up, come this way, turn the wheel this way. And I'm just like, damn, like, this is great advice. I'm leveling up. Like, this is beautiful. Like, is this me? And that was probably a good, like, almost 10 years ago, and I still, like, use his advice to this day.
Yeah.
Like, pull up halfway, look, like, turn the wheel, like ease into it, and usually I could get in within like one or two maneuvers. Like I've seen people like go forward, back, all that other maneuvering. Like nah, it's like 1-2 swoop, and I can get in.
Nice.
And it's like no one ever bothered to teach me, anyone who loved me, but this random stranger on the sidewalk.
Now, what I will say, with you moving, how long have you been down here?
I've been here for the past like 4 months now.
4 months. Okay. So what I've noticed when I moved down here, and I would say is pretty basic with everyone. You might meet someone down here, and there, as you probably know at this point in time, there's so many different transplants that come from every part of the world in different walks of life. But you might have a lifelong friend or just a person that will look out for you and do something that your family members wouldn't do for you, and they just met you in a matter of this week. That is something that's really great about being down here. And it's a part of the Southern hospitality aspect of it. And then also the people that I just moved to a place where they don't have family. So you're forced to be more of an extrovert in certain situations. Because me personally, I'm an introverted person, but being down here, when you don't have a network, you have to talk to people. And I just found myself talking to people more than I regularly would be. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I've stumbled upon different types of food, different cultures, and just different lessons and different lifestyles. And it's pretty cool. Most of it's been pretty cool. Have to throw that in there.
I mean, this is a wild city, so I can understand.
What's the wildest thing you've seen so far? Or what's the wildest invite of debauchery you've received?
Here, there hasn't been that much debauchery because I feel like here I'm pretty sheltered. Like I hang out with my family. I have a couple of friends from like college who are married and like real low key. So
they're like, hey, married people tend to be
trail?
more tame, depending on the type of marriage they have.
Some of them.
That's what I said, depending on what type of marriage they have.
But they're very G-rated. So it's like, you want to go on a trail? You want to go whitewater rafting? It's not like, hey, girl, like, let's hit up the club, or like, he's out of town. Like, none of that. But
have you been invited to the swing club yet?
No. I know friends who go, though, in Texas, but...
They kind of... well...
You'd be surprised what they got in Texas.
I think a lot of things are a lot more open and free at this point in time. And then I guess the internet has kind of made everything in the world smaller, because there's a different lines of communication. People like you find there's a market for everything everywhere, where I don't know. I guess pre-internet and before, well, not pre-internet per se, but more so before the explosion of people talking so frequently on social media. You have a lot of people that just, if you're in a small town, it's just a small town. But now you can find a group of people that think like you, and you kind of jump into that really rather quickly with a few hashtags.
Yeah. I haven't got into that yet here, but maybe I need to go look into that. But I feel like majority of my wild times have happened in Florida. That's like the most.
Really?
Yeah. Like Florida is the type of place where you live. And this has personally happened to me, where you really randomly get a text message like, yo, party tonight, bring at least $50 in ones in a bottle. Here's the address. And I'm like, where am I going?
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at this address like, this is a hotel. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, like, 50 ones in a bottle, like, this is where my night's gonna go. All right. Like, that's.
Are you the curiosity? Like, you're the girl that like, I need to figure out what's going on just so I can say I did it?
Yes and no, because I grew up with my grandma always saying like, curiosity killed the cat. And in certain situations when it works for me, I'm like, yeah, nah, it's a no for me. But then other times I'm like, like let's just, if it's, now that I'm older, I'm definitely more like cautious and I practice discernment. But before that, it's just like, all right, like you're so young and naive. It's just like, what's the worst that could happen? Or,
right.
Or you're with your friends.
Until the worst happens.
Thank God God looks after children and fools, because it's never gotten to the worst. But yeah, like I just like experiences. And I feel like because I grew up so sheltered and I didn't really go anywhere to do that much, it's like when I got freedom and they put money on top of it, what? Yeah. I'm like, bet I'm there, we're doing all of the things. I just became like really a yes man in the sense of, as long as I don't feel like there's any immediate danger or harm, or it seems like it's going to be interesting. Yeah. Like I'll go, like a friend will say like, let's go on this trip. Like, sure, let's go to this concert. Like, let's go to this event. And like,
so
for the most part, I'm down.
50 ones in a bottle. How much liquor did you leave with, and how many ones did you leave with?
Oh, that's a party foul. It's like you bring like a bottle as a courtesy. You can't take it home. It's a gift.
Yeah, I know that. Well, how much did you drink?
I don't even remember. Like, I didn't really become a heavy drinker like that till I got to Texas. Like, that's when I feel like I really grew some hair on my chest, and that's when I started drinking brown. There's pictures of that night somewhere in the cloud, but
like I don't recall.
It was a good night. Like it was for somebody's birthday, a dear frat brother's birthday, and it was a great time. I feel like I drink enough to have fun, but not too much where it's just like I don't remember anything that happened or like blacking out or anything like that. It was like that nice happy medium where this is a good time, but I can actually like remember this and enjoy myself. So
male strippers or a female?
It was a female.
Okay. You remember her name? Was it Candy in it?
No, but she did smell like candy. Like strippers, I will say, like smell. They have the softest skin, and the freshest women I've ever smelled in my life. I've never been around a stripper who like didn't feel like a baby and smell like a sugar cookie.
A sugar cookie. That's great. What clubs have you been to down here?
Not a lot. Like
strip clubs?
I went to one like.
Did you go by yourself or did you go with group?
I went with somebody that I was in a relationship with.
Okay.
but I don't even remember the name. It's like, it was just one of those hood ones where it's just kind of like...
I mean, they're all...
No, but there's levels to this.
Yeah, it is, but they're all located in those type of neighborhoods for the most part. Now, was that your first... How would you rate your experience with the person you were in a relationship with?
You mean my relationship with them?
No, or the club experience. No, I'm not.
I'm like, wow.
Give live ratings. Like, let's go through the Rolodex.
I'm like, well,
yeah,
no.
we review exes on this show too.
Yeah, like I feel like that's more of a private conversation. The experience of what I've had.
Was it a culture shock for you, or
no? It was more so like, I'm not gonna say underwhelmed, but like going to some clubs in Houston, going to some clubs in like South Florida, it was kind of like...
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
You understand, like, my benchmark is a little bit different. It was maybe a 6 because I left smelling like an ashtray, and I was kind of upset about it.
That's every club. And I don't smoke, and I have locks, so it's always in my hair.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, and that smell like lingers on you but I feel like I haven't always had that experience. At least some of those clubs were bigger, so it kind of airs out. Like if you have your own section or what have you, like you're not, if no one's smoking in your section, it's over there, then it's not really on you. But this place was kind of more compact, so it's just kind of like, everything's just mixing in the air and just sitting in your skin.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, I gotta be around my family. Like,
and she didn't smell like a sugar cookie anymore, like guys.
No, the sugar cookie smell was long gone. I wish I would have stayed with me.
Gotta talk to the stripper, see what they do to make you sick.
Yeah, how do they stand in there and smell so good? Because I did not, the way I just literally scrubbed my skin off in the shower that night.
Yeah. So what's your benchmark? Who has the best clubs? Houston or Florida?
I can't say that because I'm not a strip club connoisseur. I could probably count on, is it 1 or 2 hands? I don't know. We don't need to count. But
I mean, we kind of just walked into that part of the conversation, but
I haven't been to like some of the best because I haven't, for whatever reason, I don't know how, I've never been a KOD. So I know that was like one of the top tiers everyone talked about. It depends. Like,
it's funny that you say that because my benchmark for me, well, I won't say a benchmark, but for me, I'm not. My thing is this: if you seen one girl twerk, you seen them all twerk.
Ooh, that's a lie. Why would you say that?
You have a body, you have body parts, they move, that's a show. But I'm not a guy that likes tricks though. Like if you do certain tricks, pose tricks, and the other things that they get into, that's not something for me.
See, I'm there for like, I love Cirque du Soleil.
Okay, that's different. Yeah, but I'd rather go to the circus. But I see you. I see what you're saying.
So for me, like, so there's levels to it. Because I've been to the hole in the wall BYOB strip club. They're like literally you walk in with your own case of beer and a bottle. Yeah. I've been to some places. Okay. And some of those strippers, like some of them, you could tell just crossed the border from like, from the valley, as in Mexico. Yeah. Like, there was one girl, she was dancing with my friend, and she's like, yeah, I'm a teacher in Mexico. You know, I live in the valley. I didn't know what the hell that was at first. And I'm like, where's that? I've been living in this city for how many years? I never heard of the valley in Houston. Yeah. And she's like, no, like that little border between Texas and Mexico. So she's like a nice little school teacher, but on the weekend she hops the border, comes to Houston, strips, and then takes the money back home and like totally protects her identity. So, that's cool. Then at those kind of places, BYOB, expect to see like cesarean scars. Yes. She was gorgeous and she was so cute, but like that thick keloid from hip to hip was definitely there on full display. It didn't stop us from giving her money. No. But those are things that you see in more really of the cool kind women. Of. Yeah, these are real women. Yeah. And then you have like the one awkward stripper who's like wearing glasses, who you feel like, see, like, sis, like go back to school. Like this is not wearing glasses. This is not your ministry. Oh wow. Yeah, but like nerdy hoes need to make money too. Right. So there was that, but like that wasn't for her. And then some of the more higher ranked ones where it's weird because there's like the ones like V Live in Houston where Onyx where they get 90% naked. So they're naked, but then they're wearing like pasties or thong, but it's like pretty much a see-through or whatever. Okay. But those are the ones that they do more tricks than anything, and they're more like polished, and so you'll see like gorgeous girls, crazy bodies, all these crazy like P-Valley tricks, like with the
P-Valley is a stripper show.
Yeah, on like Showtime or Stars, whatever. Yeah. So you see like the tricks over the top, and these girls are beautiful. but they like there's that little like mystery still because they're wearing like little pasties or they're wearing like a thong or what have you.
Fair enough.
And then there's other places like I think the most fun I ever had was I think it was Tootsie's.
Okay.
In Florida, like that was an experience.
Yeah.
There was a girl. She was so cute. She had dimples. She was so nice. But then like she was so cute and like she was doing her thing.
Yeah.
Like she looked like she was having the time of her life. Like she would do it for free. You know she wouldn't. But like when you kind of play that fantasy and that
she was in character.
She committed.
Yeah.
Because other ones like they'll do all these tricks for you and as soon as that song is over, you run out of money. It's like
dead face. Yeah.
It's like it never happened.
Yeah.
Like we didn't just share this 5 minutes. We didn't just bond and connect.
Mm-hmm.
We made eye contact. And with her, she was just really into it. And even though you know she was leaving you for somebody with more money, she's just like, all right, I'll see you later, girl. It was nice talking to you. Mm-hmm. Like she made you feel like she was your homegirl.
That's
and
cool.
I'm like, I wanted
Job well done.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to get more of my weight. And I'm like looking at these 3 dudes. I'm like, no, they're willing to spend more than me. Like, I have to let you go.
The hand gesture.
I was so sad.
Back to the streets where where's the love is waiting for you. Now I didn't plan on going to the strip club connoisseur talk, but you know it is what it is.
I'm not a connoisseur.
Yeah, I mean that's more of a breakdown that I could give.
Okay.
It was
lived a life.
yeah, I guess. So I remember the other day we were talking. We were going back and forth about like how Southern women do the shady talks. Mm-hmm. So I ran into this thing where I was thinking about how corporate people have their corporate way of giving someone a corporate cuss out without actually using cuss word versus Southern women how they throw shade. Do you notice? Is there a noticeable difference that you know?
Yeah. It's funny because this is a skit. I want to say, I hope I don't get this wrong. Amanda Seales has a really good skit on this.
Okay.
I think it's in her comedy show, I Be Knowing.
Okay.
But she talks about how, like, you know, like in your emails, like, as per my last email, and where you kind of like clap back and like professional talk is just kind of synonymous with being passive aggressive, which passive aggressive is a hell of, I don't know, a darkness on your spirit to get rid of because it's so normalized. And it just kind of becomes a way of speaking that is way too accepted. But with the whole Southern thing, like I witnessed a lot, especially like moving to Houston when I was there, of being around like really old Southern Black women. Because in Florida, I don't consider that the South. It's might as well be like it's some like weird hybrid of like Puerto Rico and Jamaica.
Really?
Yeah, South Florida, like you'd be lucky if you meet somebody who doesn't have an accent or it's like citizen. Everybody got green cards, and that's if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So it's just like for me, it was like all right, being here, I'm like, oh okay, because in Florida, like you meet another Black person in South Florida. So I'm saying, let's just say anywhere from like Fort Lauderdale, Miami.
Okay.
You meet a Black person, they're like, oh hey, where you from? And you're like, oh yeah, I'm from like North Miami Beach. You're like, no, where are you from? It's like, oh, Jamaica, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, I'm from Haiti. Well, then you, like, get northern Florida, and then, like, people are like, no, I'm just Black. And you kind of, like, but in South Florida, it's like, yeah, I see that, but, like, where are you from?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm just Black. Like, people look at you confused, like, I don't comprehend.
Yeah.
There's an origin. And people are like, no, like, those things happen called the transatlantic slave trade. But, anywho, so with the older women, it's just, I don't know, that clapback is something different because when older, and my grandma's like this too, older Black women, like, I'm not putting it just on them, but there's a certain age where you get to where you feel like as an elder, you kind of trump everybody. There's no one really like in this club with you. Yeah. So you can say whatever the hell you want because it's just like, who's going to try me? So they're just very free to tell you, you look a little overweight. And that's just putting it nicely. Like, oh, that's what you wore? And they try to, like, be nice about it. Like, I remember I went to a community service event, and I was definitely within dress code. There's not a dress code as long as you don't show up in a thong, like, with letters on, you're pretty good to go. But I'm wearing dress shorts that, for me, I felt were modest for me because they were, like, an inch above the knee. Okay. Same thing that you would see covered up, like, by a normal average dress that you would see somebody wear to, like, a business casual dress. Usually it's, like, some people wear it right above the knee if you want to be a little scandalous or risque. So I made sure they were long. I remember I had a woman tell me like, "Oh, you must be one of those younger sorors who just crossed." And I'm like, that's like, now you're trying me, because you're like, "Oh, you must be green," because there's no way if you really was out here about this life and like really seasoned, like you would make this mistake. And I'm like, no, I'm not one of these young girls. I'm a whole woman. You're trying to try me like I'm 18. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of like little stuff like that, like confusion. Like,
false confusion. Then
false confusion. Like,
saying.
You know what time it is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, and I'm like, no, just that's not a rule. That's a preference. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, like, are we gonna hand out these backpacks or not? Because there's a whole bunch of like parents out here who definitely need these supplies. So like, I'm one of the only 5 people who showed up to this community service event to help out and help and like serve this church. Yeah. So are you gonna like really like stumble on some technicalities to be shady just to like, get your point across? Or are we gonna do the Lord's work?
That's fun for them at times.
If you bored, you ain't got nothing else to do.
That's what older people do. I remember my dad when he got older, and he had kicked off of his fair share of drama, and he was very mischievous. So he would sit back and laugh after he stirred the pot with other people having arguments. And I talked to him. I said, "Pop, why'd you do that?" He was like, "I was bored. I couldn't do anything else." But he was honest.
You actually got it. Wow, confession. I've never had that.
No, my dad was very honest. Especially, older people have a tendency to be honest. Well, it depends on the person. If they have fun lying, they're gonna ride it out. But my dad, he would tell you what he did. You're like, "Oh, I was bored. I had to do something," because he couldn't go do his he couldn't do his young boy, wild boy stuff. Because he couldn't, he aged out that program.
So no, you make him sound like a foster kid.
No. I mean, that's what it is essentially. It's different levels to different avenues of life in which you can do, or what's socially acceptable, or in his case, what he physically could do. Mm-hmm. But he knew how to stir the pot somewhere else to get his rocks off, and that's what he did. He knew this person would be sensitive to this, and this person would be sensitive to that.
Oh, I hate that they push your buttons for kicks and giggles, and they just stand back and watch like.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a good Christmas.
I hate that, because it's just like because you know, and then they just step back like,
what happened?
Just creeps out and just like watches everything, and I'm like, you were the reason why this whole mess got started, and you're the only one who's like walks away unscathed. Right. Oh, that grinds my gears.
Oh yeah, that's the seasoned old person that likes drama though. No. So what from a fashion sense, before you pledged, what would you say changed you before you pledged and after?
Oh, from a fashion sense?
I guess we will start with fashion, but I would like to say everything. What did you change about yourself? But we'll start with the fashion since that's the last thing we branched off of.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in general. Well, that's definitely part of it, because you'll get this little fun tutorial about what's acceptable to and what not to wear, or how to carry yourself, which is understandable on like a actual business level, because you shouldn't show up to like a very like a general meeting in like flip flops, right? And I don't know, whatever, in workout clothes. But then like I'm talking about more so the social stuff. Like, all right, when we go to parties, we don't wear jeans to like parties. We wear dresses and heels, or we do this with our hair, whatever. Like,
what was your training beforehand? Or were there any established lines of what you need to do or how you need to carry yourself?
Just like a lady, like just be well put together. But then like I was always raised to take pride in yourself, whether it's where you live or like how you take care of yourself. Like I'm not gonna go to the grocery store with a giant T-shirt with a hole and a bleach stain on it. And like look like you take some like worth in yourself and just put yourself together. So I think if anything, that was already there. But then it's like, this is just that with a little bit more like glitter and glam on top of it. Okay. It's like, don't look regular and basic. Like, yeah, brushing your teeth and combing your hair and all that's nice, but that's like the bare minimum. Like, right. Do better.
So what other aspects of your life that were changed, or other standards that were put forth in front of you?
I mean, if anything, sisterhood is... I was always like in a community service, but it was dope to have other people to do it with.
Okay.
Like a lot of my other friends weren't into that, so I'm like, I'd be on campus like, oh, I want to do this, and we're gonna feed the homeless or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, let us know when you're done.
Okay.
So it was cool to have people who actually had a passion for that as well, and like we planned and did those kind of things together, and that was also like a shared bonding experience. But then like I'm an only child, so I have to have sisters. I'm like, oh, okay. And if some of the like women who I really connected with, like I would have never met them otherwise on campus. I've never seen them before. And all of a sudden, like I'm spending every day with you, and I have to pretty much learn every single detail about your life. And I'm like, I like you, okay. And I guess in a way, it kind of helped me to be a more well-rounded person because I met people who were so different than me. And with school, like I kind of still gravitate towards people who are kind of similar to me, whether we're from like the same city or kind of a similar background culturally. And I connected with women who I never would have otherwise. Like we never were in the same type of like programs at school. We didn't run with the same people. And it forced me to, not force me, because like it was a choice, but it really made me go out my comfort zone and realize that I could connect with people that are from like total different opposite worlds from me.
Okay. Well, any negative things that you drew from the being a pledge?
I plead the fifth.
I thought you would say that. All right, so I noticed you had a lot of travels with your friends. What would you say is your favorite trip, or do you have a top 3? Do you rank them at all differently?
Ooh, I don't know if I'm still in live because my phone is black.
No, you're good. It's off because you would still see it up there.
Yeah,
if it was
I
off.
don't know. I guess no activity, but. One of my favorite trips, and all my friends will agree with this who went, was our Barbados crop over trip in 2016.
Okay.
We're still looking at videos and pictures from that trip like 5 years ago. Oh, excuse me. I want to say the anniversary of that was like a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Or something like that, like earlier this month. So it's like a big deal.
What made it stick out the most? The group of people, the mixture of the people, and the activities that you participated in?
Number one, Barbados is like everything because it's like the birthplace of Rihanna. So let's start that.
Okay.
Crop over, most of my friends, everybody in that circle is of like Caribbean descent. So it was just kind of like Carnival's a lifestyle.
And real quick for clarification, you are
Jamaican and Trini.
Okay, that's right.
Yes, Jamaican according to my T-shirt. Yeah, so my mom's side of the family is from Jamaica. My dad's side of the family is from Trinidad. And most everybody on the trip, like my best friend, it was just like, it was beautiful because I don't know how guys, like y'all are different, but females, like it's a very sensitive, delicate situation when you mix your friend groups.
No, that's real. I think that's pretty standard with everybody.
Yeah, so it's just like, ooh, this would be epic. But I'm like, I don't know. It's like my best friend is here. Like we grew up together, but college we went our separate ways physically. Still friends though. And then like my sorority sisters, like some of them, like we went on the trip, and then some of their friends, like in their profession, like some of them were nurses. So then like their friends, so it's like, all right. It was everyone kind of phoned a friend and brought a homie with them. I'm like, yeah. And it's pretty much, I don't even know how many of us, like maybe 10 of us, maybe. Okay. And only one of them was a guy. So it was just like.
Was he gay or straight?
No, he was straight. He was hanging out with everybody in Barbados but us.
Okay.
He saw a female, he was like, bye.
Yeah.
He was just with us to split the cost.
Okay.
He was not worried about us at all.
Okay.
You think like, ooh, protect her. He was like, nah, y'all got it.
It's 10 of y'all. Well, 9 of y'all.
Yeah. He was not worried. But yeah, so that was also like a cool element about it, like the mixing of different friends and like sharing that experience with my best friend and like some of my line sisters was pretty dope. But then we're there for Carnival and like it's such a deep cultural thing. Like the only thing I could really equate it to is a month-long like Juneteenth celebration. Nice. Because it's
now, how did you pick your outfit?
Huh?
How did you pick your outfit?
Oh, that's still a sore subject. So I found out.
Well, from a guy's perspective, we don't dress up like that, right?
The guys do. It's just you're not as decorated as us, but you still get a costume. You get some swimming trunk looking shorts, like a little belt. Sometimes you'll have like a little arm piece or head piece or whatever.
Well, I've seen that online.
Yeah, like,
but it's like the women, you guys are the over the top with everything. It's more luxurious.
Definitely, there's more things to dangle off our body. Yes.
So what's the process of that for you?
It's the Hunger Games, and now after COVID, it's even worse. But
really,
all right. So to give you a background, we're really excited because it was announced that like Rihanna's brother like launched his band that year. So it's called Aura, which if anybody does crop over in Barbados, Aura is like the best band ever, at least in my opinion. They were so professional, so seamless. I have horror stories for days from other ones, but like they were so professional, like great communication. You got exactly what you paid for and then some, so much value. So we're like, boom, it's Rihanna's brother. And we didn't realize that she goes every odd year.
Okay.
And that's the year that she was dating Drake. So she was at OVO Fest, which happens during Carribbean in Toronto. So she was there supporting Drake. Mm-hmm. Well, we're around like looking for her, like, where's she at though? Yeah. Like, it's her brother's launch. There's no way she's going to miss this. Like, she was in Canada winding up on Drake. But it's cool though, because we still love her. So we joined that one, like, all right, cool, we'll be in like his band. And they had great costumes. Like, they were so pretty, so nice. But there was one in particular, I forgot the name of, like, there's sections. So even though it's like one band that, like, there's a bunch of different bands that compete for like band of the year or whatever. Okay. So everybody wants to have like the most like live energy, best creative costumes, like best creative theme, overall theme. So there's always a theme in a sense that you'll probably have 5 costumes all together, and each of them will represent like a different part of your theme. Like, I don't remember what the theme was, but let's just say I've seen some of them do kind of like I've seen a birds of prey, and then each one would represent like a different bird or what have you, and then like the design and the colors would be different. Yeah. So there was a section that was like white and tan with these, I think there was iridescent like jewels and all that on it, and we all wanted it. So we're like, bet. They tell you when the costumes go live for sale. So usually it's randomly in the middle of the day.
Because everyone's just like drooling at it, like, oh, I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, so we're at work. I'm at work. Some of us, so the nurses had a different story. Some of them are probably off, but we're at work. Like, let's say it was lunchtime at 1. Mm-hmm. I put a block on my calendar. Like, I'm in a meeting. I go in a conference room, and I'm like, bet, I'm ready to buy this costume. Yeah. There was no meeting. So I'm in this conference room, and I'm on my computer. I pull up the website, counting down the seconds until like the costume goes live. Because when it's a hot one like that, like, you know, you gotta like hop on it. Yeah. Kind of like when Negroes buy Jordans on the internet. I guess it's like the same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm ready.
Or New Yeezys.
We go, and I'm on the website. I have my phone next to me. I go to select the costume, and it says like, as soon as it gets in my cart, out of cart. Like, error message. I'm like refreshing my screen, like calling my best friend, like, did you get it? No. Damn, I got the same error message. All right, cool. Just keep trying. Out of us, it was like me. Out of like maybe 8 females, only one of us got the costume. Oh. Like she got through it. When I say I hated hard. I hated on her.
Oh, it don't look like it did on the pictures.
It didn't, like, it did, but it didn't. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was happy when she got it, and like the day of, it was a little, I think because it was the most popular, that that was a section that pretty much was worked to the bone. So the quality of that one wasn't as good because that was the most popular one. So I think more people ordered that one. Mm-hmm. So when I saw it, I'm like, okay, like her cup sizes are kind of loose. It looked like they kind of took some shortcuts. Mine was like exceptionally made. I stuck with the same band, but I went with a different section. It was like this black and gray costume, but it was kind of more like dark, like Maleficent kind of. It looked great on me.
I should have had Terry over here. She's a stylist that I interviewed. You guys would have went crazy. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm so bitter, and I'm like, man, I wish I had this costume. This is a costume I wanted, but it's like the next best thing, I guess. Like, I don't even want this costume. Actually, what we called it was Queen of the Damned, because that's what it reminded me of my best friend. Like, she's like, we're going on this trip together. It's all vibes. We're going to have fun. Who cares what costume we wear? Like, we're still going to look great in it, whatever. And I'm just like, you right. So we showed.
Were you spoiled growing up?
I want to say so, but when you're like the only kid, like, we weren't like.
Well, do you have a reference point to say yes or no? I mean, do you compare yourself to other friends, or are you guys? I'm I expect you guys to talk about your family history in some form or fashion. Where you like, well, we did this, and they such and such got this for me.
Jamaicans raise their kids in a special way. So I feel like I was very well taken care of, but they tried me enough to keep me humble.
Okay.
In a sense where it's just like, I never wanted for anything that I needed. I always had school clothes, always had like whatever, always had like food. I was never insecure in that way in my household. But little things where they just cut you down to size just to try you. Like, God forbid I ask for an iPod, what do you need iPod for? And I'm like, you want it? Never mind. I don't need it. Got my little job, but if I need that same amount, if something was the same amount of money, but it was for like a SAT prep class, they're giving me the money 2 seconds. Like, oh no, it's for your education. I'm like, you don't think an iPod is gonna serve my life? It was like little things that they didn't understand that were pleasures. It was like, I'm not spending my money on that. Like, what is that? Like, you get that, and you just, once you hear that sucking of the teeth, you're like, you want to know? Like, never mind, I'm gonna go to my room. Like, it's fine. Or me and my best friend always joke about this. Like, a Jamaican woman's favorite word is like no. Like, I feel like I get ready to ask for something, and I hear like no. I'm like, you want to know what? Never mind. Like, I don't even remember. Like, it's fine. Like, little stuff like going to the
movies.
You
sound traumatized by the nose.
Yes, because now you see why I'm always in the streets. Because it's like the house is like the little prison. It's like, you want to keep me safe. You want to protect me from the world. So then it was just like, I want to go to the movies with my friends. And like, we were very strict in the sense that I wasn't allowed to stay out past 9. So my friends wanted to go to the movie.
Oh, that's like, why okay.
Like 8:30.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, yo, let's go see this at 8:30. I'm like,
no.
I'm like, okay.
I can only make previews.
So I'd literally be in my room, like literally hyping myself, like, all right, you gonna practicing, like, all right, Grandma, can I go to the movies? It's Natalie. It's gonna be 8:30. We're gonna see this. It's gonna be here. Here are the coordinates. Here's Nat's social security number. It's gonna be fine. Like, I'm in my room sitting there, like, palms sweaty, rocking back and forth, like, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Like, just ask. And I would like, it would be the slow, like, walking the green mile down the hallway of the house to her side, to her room, and I'm like, Grandma, hey, you awake? Natalie asked me if I could go to the movies with her later, and like, they want to go see this, and it would just be like, and I'd say my request, and I'd sit back and pause, like,
you know what's coming.
Sometimes she would say yes, because like after a while, like, she built trust into like 1 or 2 of my friends. So like my friend Natalie was like my go-to person. Okay. Where like she trusted, like, Nat always brought me home on time. I didn't smell like alcohol or like weed, so it was fine. Like, it was my friend that she could trust, and I would come over and eat. So then it's like, okay, I'm familiar with this girl. I've seen this girl. I know her parents. Like, she's safe. But that was like one of my only few friends that I could actually like leave and go with. So yeah. If it wasn't with Nat, it probably wasn't gonna happen. So that was like my saving grace. I'm like, if I was gonna ask something, I'm like, wait, Nat's gonna be there. It's like, oh, Natalie? Yes. And I'm like, yes, Lord.
Did you play sports?
No.
No. Did you want to?
I'm a waste of height. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Are you athletic?
I am now, because I work out for like health and vanity reasons. Instagram ruined it for everybody, giving us these unrealistic expectations of fitness and beauty. But yeah, like, I wasn't really into it per se. And with my mom being like I partially with my grandparents and my mom, and like when I was with my mom, my grandparents were really into like sports and all that. But then with my mom, like, she was doing night school, like going to school after work. So then she really didn't have the time to like, you know, take me to practice or pick me up or anything like that after school. So I kind of wasn't really in a position to do all that. And then we kind of lived far from the school, so there wasn't really a bus to like take me. So it's just kind of like, yeah, well, you could stay after school and do all these programs, but how you gonna get home? I'm like, that's a great question. And I wasn't really fit for the city bus. Yeah. I don't think that's a proper place for like a young teen girl in the middle of the night.
Looking back, being an only child, and I guess you didn't have an opportunity to, like, because a lot of times, but people don't have at home, or if they do have at home, they have a better sense of family that they generate with teammates and playing sports. Do you feel like you missed out with that, or were you happy being an only child, or did you yearn for a sister, brother?
I feel like you don't know what you're missing out on. So in a sense of, like, my family's pretty close knit, and we all live in South Florida. So my cousins, like, I'd see them on the weekends, like, all the time, and like they're about my age. And then, like, I'd have like my best friend, like, I'd hung out with her house, like, I'd usually catch a bus with her to her house and hang out. So I didn't really feel like I was missing out on that much. Like, I think if anything, like in the 90s when Tia Tamara and like Mary-Kate and Ashley was a thing, it was like everybody wanted a twin sister. Like, why did we aspire for this? Like, I want somebody to steal my face and like wear matching outfits with me all the time.
Steal my face.
We wanted it. Like, I think everybody wanted to be like Tia and Tamara or Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Okay.
Like, I want a twin. Like, why? It was just a thing. But I'm not even sure. Like, I'm not saying twins don't love it, but
it depends on the twins and if they're happy with each other at that moment.
Is it necessary? Like, I think I'm fine. But yeah, I had like my cousins and like a really tight best friend who's like, our lives literally like mirrored each other. So she's pretty much as close to a sister as I'm gonna get. Like, we're literally 7 days apart. She's born on the 13th. Like, I'm the 20th of the same month, same year.
Sag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we pretty much almost have an identical lifestyle of just being raised by like crazy Jamaicans in South Florida. So
that sounds like a very unique mix.
Oh,
because the Florida people I know, they have a tendency to be
crazy.
Yeah, you can say that.
Floridians are crazy as hell. Like, that's a thing. That's true. Florida man is a real person.
Yeah.
Or people.
Yeah.
Who make that one identity.
Florida man, woman, cousin, and child. Mm-hmm. What if you had to answer a question and say this is the reason, this is the catalyst for that, what would you say it is?
Catalyst for the crazy?
Yeah. Like, what stimulates all the craziness that comes from that part of America?
I think that's $1 million question. I feel there's so many factors because there's so many factors. I mean, Florida's a huge state. Mm-hmm. And depending on where you're from, it's like night and day, which if you're the Panhandle, like North Florida, you pretty much live in Alabama. Like, what is it? Panama City, Pensacola, Tallahassee, and all that. Like, you're the South. Like, I think up there, it's you're either black or white, and maybe...
The way you said I just picture overalls and... Yeah.
I would assume so.
Oh, my
Remember
goodness.
Ray? The Ray Charles movie? Little slave scene? Or not slave scene. They weren't slaves.
I mean, they're sharecroppers.
That was Florida.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like, that's real life. I'm not saying everybody's living out there. I'm sure there's some beautiful homes up there. I'll never know.
It always is. But it's just... Yeah, I understand. It speaks to the type of lifestyle.
It can be more... It could be more rural, and I feel like it's less diverse culturally. Mm-hmm. In a sense, but like, Destin is up there, and people love that as a little vacation spot. I've never been, but South Florida is different because it's right there. Like, it's literally an hour less plane ride from a lot of these islands. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if you fly internationally, Miami is a big hub too. So like, you get a direct flight from Miami to Portugal like that, without having to stop. Like, it's easier to get to Mexico sometimes from Miami than it is from Houston. Like, so it's a big international hub for flights. So it's really easy to get to Miami, or I feel like it's a really easy place to fly in and out of internationally. So you got so many people from South America, tons of Brazilians, Venezuelans, Argentinians. Like,
what side? What group of people do you have the most beef with?
None.
From a cultural.
I love everyone. Like, we're all God's people. So for me, like, we all...
Oh, get messy with me.
No, I'm serious. Like, I wouldn't say anything because most of my friends...
Like, the reason why I ask is because I know you talk to two different types of Africans, who makes the best fufu and or rice and peas might be.
Who makes the most jollof? Like, yeah,
jollof.
It's Nigerians versus Ghanaians. Like, they go hard on that. Honestly, in my experience, I think Nigerian jollof is better.
See, shots fired right there. That's all I need. That's what I was looking for. That's what you gave me. No, you delivered.
I've done the taste test. I've had jollof in Ghana, and I haven't been to Nigeria yet. But even the Nigerian jollof that I've had made by fresh off the boat Nigerians in America was still better than straight up Ghanaian jollof that I had in Ghana, and it was from like a couple of different places. So it wasn't just like one person in a bad batch. Like it wasn't bad. It was just like, all right, this is nice. But then I don't know if like maybe the Nigerian had a little extra kick to it. Yeah. Everyone has that little secret recipe or like whatever. Like they have the same bases like the rice, tomato, whatever. But it hit different. But that's as much as I'll say on that because I don't want to start any issues.
It's too late. You're already there.
No, but I love everybody. The only thing I don't like is like rude people. Like if you don't have manners, like I'm really big on like please, thank you, and all that other stuff. So excuse me, you walk past somebody, like don't. If you're within my bubble of personal space, the least you could do is say excuse me. Or if you're like courteous enough to open the door for somebody, they just walk through like they were entitled. Like, yeah, you should have done that. Like, okay. You're not expecting somebody to like, throw a party like, oh my God, thank you so much, but just a head nod. Yeah, like a head nod or like, oh, thanks. Like, yeah. But when they kind of just walk through like you're a ghost, like they didn't even see you hold open the door, it just magically swung open. Yeah. I'm like, okay, someone didn't do you well, whoever raised you.
Yeah. Got you. Okay, so I saw a few posts on your IG. Can you explain the pose with you in the cast of the Power, the cast of Power?
Ooh, I got in a nice little argument over that picture.
I would imagine so. What was said?
I'm not for insecure men. But anywho,
wait a minute. We're not just gonna let that slide right there.
No, stop. Answering the picture. I'm answering the picture.
All right. You tried it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my network is very interesting in the sense of the same year I moved to Houston, one of my line sisters moved to Dallas. So she had a coworker who they both worked for, I don't want to put out people's business, but anyway, they worked for a big telecommunications company in their marketing department or their marketing firm. And they did a lot of events to further the brand. So they were doing a sponsored event with Power. So I met her coworker when I we're chilling, we're in our early mid-20s. It's like, hey girl, what you doing next weekend? And then you should come to Dallas. I'm like, oh, that's only a 4-hour drive. Bet. I'll just come after work. Really, it's just simply a text or a phone call, and I'm anywhere. So met her coworker. Me and him hit it off, and it was weird because for that upcoming year, I would run into him everywhere. I ran into this man in Canada. I ran into him in Austin, Houston. I would travel, whether it's around town, in the state, around town, abroad, and I would randomly see him, and I'm like, bro, you are everywhere.
Yeah.
What is this? And half the time, the job he would just be there for special events. I went to Carribbean in Toronto, and he finagled oh yeah, we need to reach this market, and he was at a bunch of different cool events for work.
Corporate finesser.
Yeah, and I'm like, I need that job.
Yeah.
So where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so he hit me up we got cool and developed a really good rapport. So he would come to Houston for events I remember once I met one of the Rockets. I can't even tell you who, because if it wasn't the Beard or Dwight Howard, then I don't know. But it was some black-looking guy with Hispanic looking name. I think his last name started with an A or something. Anyway.
Ariza?
That might be it.
T.A.?
I don't know. He was very tall, but I think all of them are.
NBA players are tall.
I mean.
Okay, it's Trevor Ariza. Okay, go ahead.
So he hit me up hey, I'm doing an event, pull up and I'll let you in. So it was a Power event. So they had some of the cast members, and they usually at those events they probably won't have ghosts, but they'll have the main person, but they'll have still other great people. I love Rotimi. He wrote to me he performed that night. I didn't even know he sung that well.
Yeah.
And I never really thought he was that cute on the show. I'm like,
You saw me in person.
But in person, it wasn't the fact that he was cute, but the way he carried himself. Yeah. He had this confidence about him, those guys do a little smile and licking the lips, and his confidence was just okay, I see it.
Yeah.
I get this. But yeah, they were doing a little photo op at the end, and he was just yo, you want to jump in the line and get a picture? I'm like, okay, why not?
Yeah.
So everyone was kind of doing a little prom pose, or that little, I don't even want to say, I don't know how well versed you are with the ghetto. But usually, like a lot of them, at least in the South, from my experience, like have that one photo studio that does like the soft touch, like pictures with like the whole little spray paint like background.
Oh yeah,
and like
yeah.
all the girls that get their little outfit and like pose, and like you go there with your man and your baby and your best friend. So in South,
not my
Fort
experience,
Lauderdale,
but I know what you're talking about.
You've seen these pictures. Everyone had them in high school, especially when we were doing like the gel down like swoop and like the ponytail.
Okay.
And we're wearing like charm earring, like hoop earrings with the teddy bear charms on them. So yes. So everyone's kind of doing a little side pose or whatever. So I'm like, you want to screw it? Like, let me just have fun with it. So I don't know how, but I was trying to be cute or just be funny. So like I poked it out. I like jumped in front of them, poked it out. So they're like, okay. So then they just went with it. And then all of a sudden, Rotimi, I think his is the one whose leg is across mine.
I was about to say, who had your leg?
Like somebody,
I saw a
like,
leg was
all
up.
of a sudden, like these hands start going everywhere. Because it's like Rotimi, it's Tommy. I forget his real name. It's something I think like, he's like Dutch or something. And
I think it's Joseph something, but go ahead.
Yeah, but his last name is pretty foreign. And then I forgot the name of the Hispanic guy. So yeah, it was 3 of them. So all of a sudden, like hands, and like they're all pretty much like quite fair. So I can't really tell who's.
That's what I said. I couldn't figure. It's like you guys were playing. It's like you guys were playing. What's this joint?
Like
on the
Twister.
Floor? Twister. You guys were playing Twister, but standing up. Yeah.
It's like one person grabs my leg, the next person like swings out their leg.
Were your feet on the floor?
I would like to believe so. At least one of them. Yeah.
No, I like to believe so. That's funny.
One of them. It was just kind of like Well,
how many pictures did you get off with those poses? I guess
it was probably. You mean in general that night?
No. In that position or positions.
I don't know. It was just kind of like there's like the camera guy there, and it's like laughing like yeah, and then I went off. I'm like, all right, cool, and they give you a little link where you can like go and find your picture. But I didn't think anything of it. I'm in it. It doesn't feel as wild as it looked, and I was
yeah. I'm
going through. I'm like, all right, let me see my picture. Like, all right,
I look fun.
Yeah, I'm like going. It's kind of like that. Did you watch Atlanta? So like when Van, that episode, they go to Drake's house. Yeah. It was like, dang, like I need this picture. My Instagram is dry. Yeah. So I'm on there. I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't even post it initially. Like I just wanted to see the picture, but I didn't post it till probably like a year later or whatever. So I'm going down and I'm just like, that's me? Yeah, that happened. But it didn't feel as wild as it looked on camera. I'm all right.
Well, I mean, that's pictures for you in general, for the most part, because you don't know what happened 2 seconds before. You don't know what happened 2 seconds after. But people have imaginations. So the conversation, the trouble that you got into. What was the conversation like, and what was it when you posted it on IG, or was it before?
I think it was like afterwards, but like in that moment, it was like, mind you, it's in the middle of an AT&T store in like the heart of the city. Like literally Lakewood Church is like down the street where Joel preaches. Like it's a very busy area. It's in the middle of a store filled with people. Yeah. It was like some little, I guess, private AT&T event. So it was like invite only. But yeah, this is not like, oh yeah, like I had an orgy with the power cast. Like this was a public event with a room full of people. There's at least 100 other people.
You don't have to tell me. I'm not the guy.
who had a picture with them. I was just more creative with how I posed. I feel like they
that was a rebuttal when he jammed you up for it.
No, it was just kind of like it was just. I won't get too deep into it, but it was just kind of conversation like anybody who's like, I'm not gonna be with a woman who posts pictures like this, and I was like, you don't have to.
Oh, so you sent him on his way?
I want to say all that. Like it was deeper than that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna make it seem like that black and white and cut and dry. But like, I don't know, like as a female, you kind of get tired of people telling you how to carry yourself, especially people who aren't females. It's just like how you should conduct yourself, the whole be pretty and be pleasant and be polite and like, be agreeable and entertaining and enjoyable. And it's like when, as a female, I have so many friends who get mad about this. This doesn't happen to me because I'm always smiling, where they're like, you're too pretty not to smile, smile. I'm like, thank you for like managing my emotions. And just because I'm not smiling doesn't mean I'm not having a good day or I'm upset. But even if I was, I have the right to feel whatever like array of emotions that I want to. Why is it the fact that I'm a woman, like I have to be pleasant and I have to be agreeable, and I have to make you feel better about my existence.
All right, so real quick, play devil's advocate. Put the show on the other foot. If he was with the cast of, say, Girlfriends, and he had thigh, hip, breast, and they were just having fun.
Ain't nobody grab my tits. Like that's not how you said.
I'm saying a guy. I'm saying a guy.
Breast.
No, because I'm saying, or like
really
let's say he had a button
order.
up on and somebody had his shirt open, and then it just looked like. Are you okay with your man like looking like that? I'm not saying anything you did was problematic. I'm just saying
in the context, like number one, at this point, all those men are married. At that point in the picture, I want to say at
guys
least
don't care.
2 out of 3 of them were married.
Guys
so it's
care.
like it wasn't. In all clarification, like no one was touching me in a private area. But we're kind of all like this little twister jumble up of all of our limbs.
It looked like fun. It just looked like a fun moment.
It looked like Twister standing up. But yeah, like that's my life is fun. So, but for
that
me,
makes it sound worse. Twister standing up.
I'm really big on boundaries though, in a sense of like if I'm with you, I'm with you. So it's like phone is up. Actually, phone is most likely my purse because like if I'm with you, like I really don't want to talk to nobody else.
So what I'm saying, if your man had a picture similar to that, would you have a problem with that?
No, because if you were the cast of Girlfriends, like these are famous actresses, they don't want you. Like Joan could sit on your lap and feed you grapes. Like, okay, like it's to me like if it was different with some random female or somebody from your past or somebody that I know that.
So you're saying the cast of Power wouldn't want you?
In that sense, in that environment, no. Like, I think it's weird. I've never been a celebrity, but it's just like. In that celebrity fan environment, like, no, like they're doing a job. Like they're here for a promotional event. They're here to their job is to take pictures. If it was just with me, like you here, you look cute, come take a picture with us. It'd kind of be different than like.
I mean, to a guy that wasn't there, I'm saying if you know that it's I guess you're a little bit more free in your ideas of like it was just a moment.
It was just a picture. Like they take pictures with people. I bet you if you show that picture to Timmy right now, he'd be like,
"Who was that?" Yeah,
right. Like he wouldn't even remember it. Like,
okay, all right.
I took pictures with plenty of people.
All right.
I guess for me,
do you think he remembers every person he had sex with too?
I mean, that's more intimate. A picture and a sex.
Is that a yes or no?
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't say that he had the most. Much confidence.
Yeah, because even if it was like on some fling stuff, like guys don't remember you. They might not remember your name, but they'll remember something about you. Like, yeah, that was the one with the sick body from like Charlotte or something like that. Like there's an identifier. But yeah, I guess for me it was from what the context of the conversation was. Mm-hmm. It was more. It just wasn't a good look. Like it looked scandalous, or it looked.
I mean, I wouldn't say it looked scandalous. I mean, but I know how men are. And if you were in a relationship, I'm assuming there would have to be a conversation, depending on what type of man it was. But yeah, I mean, it's a conversation for a reason because I understand human beings.
It's just like, ooh, like that looks very out there. That looks like you are
Twister standing up.
It's like I don't know. Everybody's different, but. I guess in their eyes, it was something that was very like taboo looking, or something that made me look like a harlot of sorts.
But you said you posted it a year after the fact, right?
Okay, that was a stretch. Maybe not a year, but like
it was a good
that
time.
happened in the summer. I'm pretty sure I posted it like in like December or January.
Okay, and you were with him, and he knew. I mean, what was how? Well, you said the conversation went deeper based on it wasn't just about that post in particular.
It was just kind of like,
that was just like, another thing to add on to the rage.
Yeah, like when like you really mad about something else, but like you like nitpicking at like little stuff.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of at that
point.
Like
you just gave me more material to work with.
Yeah.
Work with at that point.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's move to something a little happier. Give me your experience being girl number 16.
Oh. Wow, you.
I do research.
Like, my video girl experience. That's like was like a life dream of mine.
Yeah, you said it's your favorite artist, and yeah, that's dope.
Being a video girl, like growing up in the '90s, like video girls were like a thing. That was a status symbol. like Melissa Ford and the rest of them like paved the way. Like it was kind of cool to be not like.
Who was your favorite?
There was one. I remember there was one. I don't remember her name, but.
Oh, now you sound like Rosemi.
I don't remember her name, but she was really dark, but then her eyes looked very like Asian, and she was in that 112 Peaches and Cream video. She actually lives in this city.
Most of them live here.
Yeah, but I feel like the ones who were like love interest, but not necessarily like
dark skin.
If you saw her, you'd recognize her. But now she's married to some like rich CEO guy or whatever who like owns a bunch of like healthcare chains. But anywho, that was a cool thing to be like the model. Before it was just like, you know, having surgery. These girls had regular bodies. Mm-hmm. They looked like Nia Long. Yeah. They had real hair, and like you were like the model. Like you weren't like just bending over, like shaking it. So that was like a joke, but I never like aspired and like, you know, auditioned. But
how'd you get the opportunity? How did everything come about?
Yeah, I followed Toby Nwigwe on Instagram, and I put like little post notifications because he'll put like clips of videos like behind the scenes on his videos or when he launches new music. Mm-hmm. And I just really enjoyed like the energy and the light that he shares. So it wasn't even me though, it was my friend, one of my close friends, Nat for the win. She's been my dog since I was 15. Nat like messaged me and she screenshot it. He pretty much posted on his stories like a casting call, like, hey, if you live in Houston between these ages, male, female, like whatever, had his little criteria, like DM, like answer this question and DM or send a headshot in these questions to this email. So she sent it to me like, girl, you got to do this. And I'm like, girl, like what are the odds like I would even get picked? I'm thinking that he's going to have like a flood of like inquiries, which he probably did, like I don't know. But then I just did it, think nothing of it. And the next day I got an email back like, oh yeah, you've been selected. Like, are you available like tomorrow from this and this time? I'm like, that's a work day. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, but it's Toby. So of course, like that night at work, I'm like, I'm feeling under the weather. I need to take a sick day tomorrow. I'm not with that organization anymore, so I can say this now.
You've been practicing since that grandma walks to grandma room?
So there was that, and I submitted that email, and then he said that you had to have a negative COVID test. So at that point,
this was happening during COVID.
Yeah, this was like February this was February of this year. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just like, because he was doing a YouTube video for Black History Month. Okay. So I don't know if you saw the video, but the revolution will be televised, and it was on the internet.
Who was the feature? Was it a feature? It's just him solo?
It's him, yeah. But then it's pretty much us as extras in the background, all dressed in black. Mm-hmm. So if you see the picture, I'm like the knuckle of the thumb from the aerial view. But yeah, so I got the email. I was like, what? And it's like 6 o'clock at night when I see the email. I'm like, I got it. So I'm like, the casting call is tomorrow at 6 a.m. I'm like, what? So then I Google like free like instant COVID tests. There's like a 24-hour urgent care like down the street from my apartment. Mm-hmm. I hop in my car, like I call urgent care. They're like, oh yeah, no wait. Literally like had them like swab up my nose. This is the first time I even took a COVID test. They swabbed up my nose.
I was the first one?
Yeah, my first COVID test was for Toby.
It's traumatic.
It was like digging for treasure or disease. Mm-hmm. So then they sent me to the waiting room. 15 minutes later, I got that slip that said negative. I tap danced out of there, and I'm like, I'm finna meet Toby and Fat. And I was in the video. That was probably one of the coldest days of my life.
Really?
Yeah, just because it was beautiful. Like, it was cool to see behind the scenes. Like, what it takes to make 3-4 minutes of footage literally takes, like, sometimes half a day, like 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Just to get the right angles, like, and with weather, like, it was February, so it's chilly, but then it rained, like, almost pretty much on and off all day. Yeah. And, like, we were laying on the ground. He was out there with us. He's a soldier. They're like, he won't ask you to do anything that he wouldn't do. Yeah. But there was, like, that aerial view was just so dope. It was just kind of like, it would rain, and then we'd kind of, like, huddle up and, like, run away. Yeah. And then it would stop, like, all right, cool, let's shoot it. And then we'd start again, like, all right, let's go back. Yeah. So it's like...
So how long were you on set?
It was, like, 12 hours. Like, we got there, like, 6 o'clock in the morning, left, like, 6 o'clock in the evening, like, when the sun started to go down.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's an all day thing, but I met some really dope, cool people I would have never met otherwise. Like him and Fat were so appreciative. Nell was there too. Like it really is a whole family operation. Like they really like are about what they speak about, and like they took care of us like while we were there. It was definitely a very positive experience, especially to be a part of like his art and his craft. Like his whole team is very, very meticulous about what they do and very intentional. And just to kind of see that, like you see the end product and like you can tell, but even like behind the scenes of, it's just the thought and the vision, or even they're telling you how things are gonna go, and then all of a sudden something flips in someone's mind, like, no, all right, let's try this visual. I have an idea for this. And then you see it come out, you're like, damn, that's cool as hell. And it's something simple as just having everyone flip to the side or just come from a different direction. But they're really perfectionists at making sure that everything they put their hand on is done with like quality and done with like intention and care.
Gotcha. So grand open, grand closing, or you still...
I mean,
you throw out some fillers somewhere else, or?
I enjoyed it because it was for the culture. And I didn't have to like. We were all appropriately dressed, like no skin out.
Yeah.
There was no shaking of any body parts. So it was something I could show my family.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's too many videos out there like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's one of the few rare ones. But honestly, I love Earth Gang. Shout out to Atlanta. So if Olu wants to put me in a video, I would not be opposed to that. Yeah, I'm putting that out there in the universe and manifesting that. I would love to be in an Earth Gang video.
Okay. All right, so I have a versus question for you.
Oh, okay.
Toby versus Lupe Fiasco. Who you got?
Ooh, why would you do that?
Because I do research.
Damn, like that's... Lupe was the love of my life back in like high school. You still can't tell me The Cool wasn't one of the most like epic albums ever. I don't listen to him as much as I did then.
When did he lose you? Or start?
I'm going to say he lost me, but like, you know...
Well, the reason why I say that as a fan, because the way, well, he wasn't the love of my life, but I love Lupe. I love the way he tells stories, his extended metaphors, his rhyme schemes, the vocabulary, and like just everything. Yeah. So I understand how you became enamored with him from an artistic standpoint. So what I'm asking is, where did it start to taper off for you? Because it's kind of like how people feel about Kanye post 808 Heartbreaks. It's a lot more valleys than peaks.
I think, Kanye, like after his mom died, like music definitely he was a lot more dark.
Yeah.
Definitely more misogynistic, except for his Sunday Service album, Lord is King.
Yeah.
His Sunday Service music is exceptional, but we're on to Lupe. Maybe after Lasers.
Okay.
And for me, it's just like, maybe I have ADD of like music appreciation, because it was just like he dropped The Cool, like 2007?
Don't make me lie on the years, but yeah.
I think it was like December 2007 or something like that. Then you don't really hear anything from him, kind of radio silence, and then all of a sudden, like...
Well, he kind of does that.
Then 2011, it was like, hey, I got an album. Yeah. And I'm like, bruh, I had to seek another supply.
Yeah.
Like, you had me in these streets, like, fiending. Like, I'm over here, like...
I mean, okay, so were you following him arguing with his label and his label situation and all that stuff?
I didn't really get into all that stuff because I was, during that time, busy getting education. But it was... I don't know, like for me it was just like I just wanted to... I
just need my fix, give me my stuff.
Yeah, and it was just like he left me stranded for like 4 years. And one thing about Toby, like for someone who's married with like, he just had his 3rd child, like God bless them and congrats. Like this man produces like music like constantly, he has stuff. And I feel like I would just believe that he has a good work-life balance, but like he's always producing content. He always has something. I don't know if he stockpiles it, but like you don't go too long without something from him yeah. Something. And it's like some of the stuff I'm even listening to is stuff from probably like 3 years ago or whatever. But he's still, if you want something new, you want something fresh, you can. But his older stuff is still relevant and still good enough where you'd still listen to it every day like it just came out.
Gotcha.
And
so Toby for the win?
It's hard because that's who I love now, and I'll still always love him. I still love Lupe, but that's who's feeding my spirit now, and Lupe hasn't fed me in a while. He starved me. But Versus is like old school. Like I feel like it's whoever was
No,
relevant.
it's just putting them together, and that's all.
I can't. I mean, does anyone really win besides that whole Jadakiss thing? Like, it's a draw.
The culture wins. That's what, you know. That's
Yeah,
what
there you go.
Yeah.
The culture wins because they both. I feel like I love them for the fact that they're not trying to be. They're not rapping about, oh, I used to sling dimes and bricks at my auntie's house and all this other stuff. Which shout out to Jeezy, like he was everybody's soundtrack in like high school. But at the same time, it's like I didn't come from that background. I can't relate to that life. Like, granted,
most people can't. I mean, the average person can't. I mean, but that's what it's a Scorsese movie, but it's an audiobook.
It was Lupe gave me something to think about. He was trapped in the house in the streets of Chicago, wasn't allowed to go out because of all the violence. I'm like, I understand being trapped in the house. Like, even his song, He Said, She Said, about his father not being there. Whoo! It's
very simple, but it's like very on point.
It's like,
because he just changes pronouns on both verses.
You know the world's out to get me. Why don't you give me a chance? And I'm like, he spoke to stuff in me that I didn't even know existed. I'm like, yo, nigga, I feel that way, but I didn't even know I felt that way until you told me I felt that way.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it's like you're in the stands, like, it's like you're in the stands booing against me. And I'm just like, that's how it feels when you have somebody who's like, that's supposed to be connected to you, who chooses like opts out, like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And he just spoke to me. Or even like the song, When He Gets the Girl. Talking about like the emotions.
Oh, the mixtape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And He Gets the Girl, where it's like he's like rapping
just
about.
walk up to it and just be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you flip the.
Yes.
I want to say that Pharrell joint.
Yeah, him and Pharrell. Like, I love that song because he's going through his mind. Like, as a female, you're like, you don't know what it's like for a guy to approach you, and him going through it and being vulnerable. Like, oh, you like Felonious Monk? And I'm like, I love that fact that he went through all that little nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
And think about what to say. And then like the verse when he actually like does connect with her, he's like, whoa,
yeah.
She's just like me. Like, it's not that deep. Like, she likes me back. And I was just like, that. It was just the cutest thing, but it was so vulnerable.
Yeah.
Before like Brene Brown went on Netflix and told us about vulnerability. Like, he was doing it before it was a TED Talk, before it was cool. And he was just showing a different side besides, hey, have a big butt and...
Hey, have a big butt.
Feel like
I'm
girls
using that on TikTok somewhere in life.
Have a big butt and sell drugs and all this other stuff, which, like, no shade on it, because some of this toxic misogynist music I still arch my back to. But at the same time, he was just doing something so different and that speak to me so deeply. And now Toby hits in a different way just because it's a different connection, just because the way I even found out about him was the fact that we went to the same church. So I'd see him, like, he was doing the announcements at church, and then he was doing, someone in one of the groups I was in told me about these events he was doing called the Dope Art Show, which I respect his career and I love it, but one bad side effect of it is he can't do the Dope Art Show anymore because he's not physically there. But he would MC the event, he would like perform on it, but it was pretty much like a very exceptionally run grown-up talent show in a sense. Like, he showcased talent. So
oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so he took his platform and gave other people a shine. So he'd have you could do anything, spoken word, rappers, singers, dancers, painters, artists. Even sometimes Fat would paint live while he was like rapping or other people were going. So like you just see this blank canvas and at the end it's like this beautiful like mural. And it was just a showcase of really exceptionally talented people from like the Houston, Texas, Louisiana area who were just like, someone needs to discover this person. Like, and it's so dope to see him blow up now, and he's bringing people like that with him, like Luke Whitney, who has an exceptional like voice and is pretty much the definition of like blue-eyed soul. His voice is crazy, but yeah, like, so seeing somebody come from that spiritual background and get his success, like, technically he's a Christian who's a rapper, but he's not technically a Christian rapper. He'll make mentions of his faith.
Well, I know the difference.
Yeah, like, he'll make mentions of his faith, which is cool, but to see him do it with such integrity. Like, this man was broke, whatever, and he's got to where he is now, like, success, and not keeping his boundaries and not wavering on that. To me, is like, I don't just like you as an artist, I respect you as a person. Because I think that's very hard at any career, even when you're a blogger or an engineer, an accountant to like really keep to your integrity and not bend that for success. And for him to be a rapper and like not only claim his wife in public, but have her be a part of his art, and
it's very prominent. But it's also a person that's married to someone that's fully invested in his art and his work as well, though.
Yeah, like some of these rappers I didn't even know were married.
Yeah, because it's not fashionable, and then also the content doesn't allow you to see that side of them.
Yeah, and that's a great question. Like, if you're rapping about your life,
but you're talking about an independent artist opposed to people that are on major labels who have to acquiesce to different boardrooms.
I guess boardrooms full of white people.
Absolutely.
So then we're embodying the white desired perception of us.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, but the thing that makes Toby unique though is because not a lot of people cultivate the type of audience that he has as an independent artist, and he doesn't have. It's not an audience. It's not a lot of people that can call their own shots the way he does. But a lot of times they don't. People that do have the ability to call their own shots because they're independent, they don't reach that level of prominence because they don't cultivate the audience.
Yeah. The only thing, I mean, he's exceptionally talented, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who are exceptionally talented who albums don't sell.
Yeah,
so that's not enough.
Yeah, yes, it takes more than just talent to make it.
Yeah, I think, what is it? I don't know the guy's name. Is it Eric? They call him the hip hop, the hip hop preacher. I think he's like a motivational speaker.
The hip hop pastor.
Yeah, I've heard that like
Eric Thomas, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard that like they're associated with each other, so I don't know if like
that would make sense.
But then. Thing about people, and I don't know how he got in the path of these people, but people who are really, I guess you could say, instrumental in the culture, really latch on to him, like Dave Chappelle and Erykah Badu. Like, Dave Chappelle on his show always had like real, like
he's a backpack like lover, like backpack type of artist lover.
Yeah, like Mos Def, he would have on the show, and like those kind of artists, and like Talib Kweli. So like Toby kind of is like associated with that lane. So having someone like that put you on. Yeah. And then, you know, like now Dave Chappelle more than anything seems like a businessman of the thing that he's securing for himself. So I feel like when people like that latch onto you, I think it's more than just a, hey man, you're doing a good job. I feel like even those type of relationships bear fruit and they introduce you to the right people.
Absolutely.
Or the right people, they're putting their light on you, and then they're having people in their network see you in a new light. And it's just, it was inspiring to see someone come from such like humble beginnings. Like I used to see him do announcements at church, and like not even like 4 years later, now he's like doing the soundtrack for like I think it was like, don't quote me because me and sports don't make. I think it was like NBA Live game or something like that.
Oh, 2K.
Yeah, 2K or one of those things, and it's just.
Wait, you don't do sports at all? So you have? Oh, let me go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I won't say all that much. Like I'm not the type to. Like,
can you follow a game?
Yeah, like I'm more in person.
Okay.
Like if I was just at the Falcons training day training camp a couple weeks ago. Okay. Where that little scrimmage game was kind of weird, like Falcons versus Atlanta. I'm like, y'all the same team. Yeah. I could go to like in person going to a game. I could follow, like I know we're making a touchdown or a field goal. Like when we're in person, it's different. Like this is the main focus. But when it's on TV and I'm at the bar, I'm really more focused on my lemon pepper wings. And
wet or dry?
Ooh, either one.
I don't know because I've had this was a thing that was introduced to me like a few weeks ago, and I'm like, I don't have a dog in a fight, so I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I think either one, but probably dry because I like to like taste it. I don't know if it's the texture thing for me, like the graininess of the rub is like nice. Okay. A little like burst of flavor and like when that lemon like hits you.
Okay, flats or drums?
Drums. It's more meatier. I'm greedy. Like I straight up eat chicken like a West Indian woman, so I leave nothing. All that cartilage, like that's all gone.
You crack the joint and
suck out the marrow. I'm not there, but my bone is like dry. Like there's not a stitch of meat or anything left on it.
I waste so much chicken then. Like I would definitely cover my plate.
Yeah, I can't watch American people eat chicken. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
I feel judged.
No, I don't know. It's like.
That's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
I've worked with
a black foreigner when you see them eat a chicken wing or a drumstick.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Do you say something and you just judge them silently and suck your teeth like your grandma did?
I don't look. it's like I don't want to look like I don't want to look at you different. Because to me, like, being wasteful is a thing. So I'm like, why would you waste all that good meat? Like, no. And it's nasty. Like, I don't believe in exchanging fluids with people like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not gonna be like, pass that over to me. I'll clean it off. Like, no.
Oh no,
well,
that's
no,
different.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, that's different. That's
so then it's like
level.
there's nothing I could do. Like, I'm not gonna make you like. How am I gonna make you like? You better finish that. It's like, so you.
Oh, now you sound
finished.
like the lady at the coat drive with the Oh, that's what you do to your food here? Who raised you?
That's what I think. I'm like, oh, you're one of those. Mm-hmm. Noted.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that. I'm like, oh, look at you, bless your heart.
Okay, so I got all my bullet points out the way. Do you have anything that you would like to talk about that's something that's been on your timeline, something in pop culture, something, it could be whatever it is on top of your mind? Do you have any male questions, female questions, or anything?
I'm a little bit of a grandma, so like usually I'm not gonna lie to you, I go on Instagram just to find like cool new black food spots in my neighborhood.
Okay.
So, or look up beauty products. Honest.
Besides Riri?
I'm sorry. I'm an equal opportunity person when it comes to products. I love her highlighter and her lip gloss.
I'm kidding.
But I need other, like, face products or whatever. Like,
girls gotta have her options.
I need options. Like, different brands hit different. Like.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not gonna talk to you about face wash.
It's okay. I already have what works for me.
Okay.
So, but if you need any suggestions, I'll pass them your way.
I'll take that, but not on. That's not going to lead to an interesting conversation. So I think
egg crate. The milk crate.
Oh, you want to do the milk crate challenge?
Well, my thing is the fact that, you know, here and there I go on my friends' like stories, and I kept on because I'm West Indian. A lot of my friends are nurses. Mm-hmm. It's like nurses are Jamaicans, Haitians, Filipinos, all that.
It's so many Filipino nurses, yes.
Yeah, so that's like immigration. Like that's people go to nursing school. And that's their way in. Like, oh, y'all need nurses? Like, I'll learn. Yeah. So a lot of my friends are nurses, so I kept on seeing all these like messages. My cousin's like a doctor, a chiropractor. So I kept on seeing on everybody's stories like, y'all keep doing this like milk crate carton, like challenge, this milk crate challenge.
I think they were calling it the Hood Olympics or something like that.
They were just saying like, there's no space for you in the ER and all this other stuff. Like, or my cousin said, keep it up. Like, y'all gonna keep like giving me business. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what the hell are they talking about? Like, what did I miss? Yeah. I don't follow challenges or anything. Like, even when people were doing the ice bucket, like, you're next. I'm like, no, I'm not. I didn't sign up for this. Yeah. I don't like being cold. So let me know where I need to write a check because I'm not doing this. Mm-hmm.
Where do you keep your thermostat at the house?
Ooh. I felt like this was gonna come up. That's why I'm wearing jeans, because like I had a feeling like you were one of those like low 70s kind of people, and you look like a Negro who sleeps on 65 with the fan on right in front of your face. Like, ooh,
nah, not the fan.
But yeah,
not the fan.
65 though.
That's a little bit low for me, but yeah.
What is it on right now?
I think 70 because I'm being nice. But the only reason why I'm like that though, even as a baby, I've always been a huge sweater. Like even when I do the show, like I keep a towel next to me. Like I will not be doing anything, and like my forehead gets like I'm like a pastor. And you say your neighbor. I'm that guy just for no reason. I've always been like that since I was a kid though.
Okay.
I just generate a lot of heat.
All right. Noted. He's hot in the pants.
Whoa.
You said you generate a lot of heat.
I like what you did there. I'm gonna let that rock.
So
what's your thermostat at?
Usually
79, 82,
77, 78. Like
oh my god,
maybe
your
75.
walls are sweating.
No, you have to understand. I come from island roots, which originated from Africa roots. Africa's hot as hell. Jamaica's hot as hell. Yeah. Florida's hot as hell. Yeah. Houston, Texas, this whole hot as hell. Yeah. Hell, even here in Atlanta, it's hot as hell.
Oh, I was cutting grass earlier. That's why my AC is the way it is right now.
So I'm very used to like very extremely like sticky, hot climates.
Do you sweat a lot?
Yes, but not necessarily. I have to be in activity. Like I did a boot camp workout during my lunch break, and like I was on the patio, and I did it out there, and like into the warm up, I just felt everything just get slick. I'm like, yep.
Well, the humidity down here makes it a little different too.
Yeah, but even like sweating, it's like it's hot. Even like I had a covering, but it's hot. I'm moving around, so I am easy to sweat if I'm outside and I'm moving around. But if I'm kind of stationary, I'm fine. But the heat, I love it. Like I think humidity keeps your skin so like fresh and soft. It's like, to me, it's a preservative. And I've spent time on the West Coast, and I'm literally like a dry sponge out there. Like I literally,
you notice the difference in your pictures and everything.
I notice the difference. I look at my skin. Like my routine is I lather down with like body oil at the shower. I don't towel like air dry. So fresh,
I mean, yeah, it's hot enough. Yeah.
Then shea butter.
Your house, yeah.
Then I slick on the shea butter. So like I have a process of how I moisturize my skin.
Wait, you do the oil then the shea butter?
Yes.
What kind of oil do you use? I said I wasn't gonna talk about products, but here we are.
Yes.
I'm a smidget. I'm a smidget of metrosexual.
I don't think it's metrosexual. I think it's just being a person who cares about yourself.
No, well, what I've been told about women, because apparently I have pretty feet, but I don't know. I don't have a reference point for other men because I'm not checking other men's feet.
Most men don't show their feet, so.
But apparently it's because their toes are busted, and
there's black toenail is real.
How do they get that way? Because I grew up in the country and I played outside. Like I was the kid that went outside during the day and then had to come back in when the sun went down. So I was outside. Like we climbed trees. We did all the things the boys did in the country. But my toes are not black. So like I don't even know where that comes from.
Maybe they're just touched by God. It's self-neglect, I think. I can't speak for...
Do you know men that wash their feet or not? Have you ever talked to men that wash their feet in the shower? They're like, well, the soap collect down at the bottom and rinse my feet off. That's me washing my feet.
No, like I definitely was with somebody who like meticulously washed their feet. Like his whole body and then like lift up the foot and... Yeah. Like that was the thing.
As he's supposed to.
Yeah. So...
He was raised right. Did he clean his chicken bone?
Honestly, I feel like we probably ate a lot of steak. I don't remember like... That I don't remember.
You remember if you judged them.
Yeah, I probably would have. That wasn't. Yeah, that's not in the archive what I can remember. So I'll say he probably did fairly well with that, or maybe just didn't. He hit it well. Situations.
Like dang, she cleaned her bone like that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't really speak to you. I haven't had anything that bad. I've had friends tell me, like my friend definitely told me she was with a guy with like a black toenail, and he was just so unbothered, like it was normal, and she was like,
"Well, I guess it's so prevalent in other guys is I don't know, it becomes normalized, but it's not a thing for me." But I'm pretty sure, besides me being hot in pants, and my AC being on 67 based on you, would you say 65?
Yeah,
that's even cold for me.
That's at night. Like Negroes, I've seen like they keep it like low 70s during the day, but at
night
it's like
better.
That's when it gets real. Not me. Like
what for me?
I've heard that.
And then plus your body heat rises. And then you come from a place where every place you lived at has been warm. Now I grew up in Tennessee. It's warm in Tennessee, but I was born in Wisconsin. It's cold, really cold. But even with that being said, my mom is cold natured and I've always been hot natured. So it's just I don't know, it's just body type, I guess.
I feel like I can only speak this because I mostly like associate myself with black guys. I'm not saying I discriminate against anyone else, but family, friends, like it's just what I'm around. And I feel like that's kind of always been like I just overheat real easy. They say like heat rises. Black. They say don't wear black when it's hot outside because like black attracts heat. I don't know if that really is a thing. And
it retains it supposedly.
Yeah, and like I have low iron, so that's another reason why I'm kind of naturally always cold. So for me,
that's you working with a cheat code.
I cling to the heat. I'm like I need.
See, I'm cool with that. Every woman I've ever been with has been like that too, but I need at least that 1 foot out the cover so I get that from the air just coming down. You know what I'm saying? That 65, I need to feel it on the foot or something.
Okay. Yeah, in those situations, I've definitely had to be ready for war. Like, in those situations, oh, crap, you want me to spend the night?
No, so knowing women, because you guys are always cold, blankets. That's what part of being considered a person that the company that you keep.
No, and then I have a reserved like uniform. Like you already
And
know
socks.
there's a pair of your like sweatpants and hoodie that I'm always like, well, you already know, like have my uniform laid out.
Uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I don't mind, like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how to run your house. If you want to keep it cold, fine. But I'm not.
No, but if you want to keep company, you also understand what was coming over too.
There's a middle ground, and for us to both be comfortable, all right, maybe you have it on 670 instead of 68. And
Till
then
I go to sleep.
yeah, I put on a hoodie, and I was with somebody who had it cold like that, plus had a fan, like right there next
That's
to
a
the
little
bed.
much.
Fan.
That's
And
a little much.
360.
Did they wake up with the scratchy voice?
No, like they were totally fine. And for me, like if it's too cold for me, if I'm not properly like, and then also that I reserve the right to steal all of your body heat. So yes, I'm going to live in your skin. I'm crawling. I'm getting in that. No,
That's what I'm used.
like,
I'm used to that.
I'm head on the chest. Like, do not deny me my right to sit
Nobody.
there.
Well,
Some people aren't big cuddlers.
Huh?
Some people aren't big cuddlers.
Oh, I'm a
Those
huge
are not
cuddler.
people I need to know.
You judge them like they're chicken bones.
It's just like you can't expect if you're gonna live like that, like, and then not keep.
I
me
like how you
warm.
say live like that, like it's like it's a lifestyle choice. It's like
It is.
It's just out here. It's just bad. No, we're hot. We're hot.
You want to know what? Our ancestors had no problem with the heat.
They have no choice.
I don't know. There were people in Africa don't seem to mind it. Like, granted, they have AC in like public buildings and like in people's homes and all that. But I feel like if you really notice,
When I'm outside, I'm outside. The only problem with me being outside, I don't mind because majority of my life I've been outside working. But the only thing that upsets me the most is like how profusely I sweat. So my forehead just dripping. Like when I was cutting my grass earlier, it's like when I didn't notice it, how much sweat I was producing until I came into the house. The only thing that gets on my nerves is how much sweat gets in my eyes. But
Yeah.
but when I'm in it, it's like when I'm in it, I'm in it. But when I'm out of it, it's like when I open up the door, and it's like, oh, the life is in here. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, all right, feel my hands right now.
With your ice box, yeah. You see how hot I am?
Yeah, you see, like
Yeah.
your hands are warm. Mine feel like ice cubes.
And right, that's because you need some ironing system. And I honestly was like, yeah, let me knock this down a couple more notches. But I knew women were coming over today, so I made it warmer for me. But I could actually go a little colder.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, but you see how hot my arms are.
And then going to bed, like if it's too cold, like
You
I'll
sleep socks on
literally-
or no?
Oh hell yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
The cozy fuzzy socks.
I've learned to keep fuzzy socks, and a lot of times when I whip them out, like if I do have female company over, I'm like, oh, you got a girlfriend? I'm like, no, I don't. I just know women. You learn. If you're smart, you try to learn.
I mean, doesn't mean you have a girlfriend. You probably just entertain a few different.
I'm not hiding the pants. Look, you try to make me hide the pants
I
again.
didn't say that, but like people, as a man, like you have
Actually,
a
I don't.
family, so you could have like if you have sisters or.
Well, I don't have family here. But all my family is basically my mom's in Tennessee, and the rest of my family's in Wisconsin. But yeah, but I understand what you're saying though.
So I try not to get like that.
What's that?
Just when you see.
When God has things in place.
Yeah, because I know I was with somebody who had like 4 sisters.
Okay.
And from being with his sisters, like
He learned.
it was like little stuff. Like we casually talking about something. I'm like, you use Shea Moisture. I'm like, like what female you dealing with? Because like
What, shea butter?
no Shea Moisture. Like this is a brand of like hair care products.
Oh, I use it.
So I'm looking at him
Well, I
sideways.
changed up. I use tea tree oil now. Well, anyway, go ahead.
Most guys aren't that big on products. Like
Oh, see, that's why I go back to what I was saying. I'm a little smidget of metrosexual. Like I had some guys I was talking about, like, yeah, I like my whipped butter. I like to get my shea butter whips, like, cause you get the regular ones like a brick, and then like I get to talking about stuff like that, and guys, I'm like, yo, what's wrong with you, bro?
oh yeah, shea butter in its natural state would not survive here. Like you would never get it on your skin because it'd always be solidified. Like you couldn't get it like warm
You got
enough
a cheat code.
to
You
melt
got a
it.
cheat code. Leave it in the car. By the time
I'm not doing all that.
No, I'm not saying I did it on purpose. It was just like when in the wintertime I use coconut oil or I use grapeseed oil too.
That's smart.
I said I was not gonna talk about this. Now here we are
did
talking about it. Right, you got me in a shea butter conversation.
It's
Hashtag shea
okay.
butters.
Next time you'll tell me how you grow out your locks. It's cool.
Shea butter, not shea butter, but
Beeswax?
coconut oil. No, beeswax is like it gives a really lot of so much buildup, and then how much I sweat, it looks horrible.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. So coconut oil, grapeseed oil, and then certain cases avocado oil, olive oil too, and then sometimes you can mix it in with your shea butter if you feel that way. But summertime you can use lighter. Well, obviously here because I sweat so much, I use coconut oil. But if I'm gonna be in the house, I'll shea butter up. I guess that's why I have pretty feet.
You take care of yourself, like that's lovely.
I could do a lot better. This is too shower season.
Oh, it is.
Yes, yeah, especially the way I sweat. Do you take showers to go to sleep? Because you like to be hot, huh?
There's nothing like a shower like at the end of the night. Especially in self-care days, like sometimes I'll take a shower, like oil myself up, put on a nice plush robe. Especially if I worked out, like
You're such a Grady, where you say things like that. Go ahead.
That used to be like my routine to fall asleep back in grad school.
Yeah.
Like at work, I was a beast back then. So like I feel like I have less time now, and I'm doing a lot less. But I'd be like, wake up, go to work, work like 9 to 5, then be on campus for class from like 6 to 9. Then actually class ended at 8:15. And I had exactly a 15-minute window to get to.
That's dope though.
Oh, it's ingrained.
Yeah.
15 minutes to get to the 9 o'clock hot yoga class on the fitness center.
See, my every yoga I do is hot yoga.
Hot, ooh, it hits different.
No, I'm just saying. I know every time I'm so hot. Yes. Go ahead.
So
hot yoga.
They say it's not good for you, but it got me through. So I'd go to hot yoga class.
It would probably be. I would think it's more beneficial to you because you're more colder.
They say it's not healthy.
Why not? What's the reason?
I guess it's like we mostly around in AC, so then like you're in like 70-degree weather, then like the room.
Oh, they're
like
going back and forth.
Yeah, something like that. Like they're saying it's
but
not healthy.
hot cold showers have been proven to help your immune system.
Everybody says everything. Like 1 minute eggs aren't good for you, next minute they are. Don't eat the yolk, eat the yolk. Oh, pork's bad for you, now it's the other white meat.
Yep.
Do what you want. So
basically what I've learned with everything, whether it's crime stats, anything political, or anything like you said from a dietary standpoint, if whatever side that you want to make an argument for, you can find stats and numbers to support your argument.
Yeah, I don't believe numbers because you can say 3 out of 4, like, vegans are like healthier than whatever, and it's like, okay, well, what's your sample? Where did you get this collection of people from?
Right.
So there's always that. But yeah, so I'd go to that class. It would end at like 10. I'd have like a good 30. I had an hour window. 30 minutes to get home, and then the other 30 minutes to shower and like shower and go to bed before like it hit me. I'm already tired from working, tired of being in class for like 2.5 hours. And I do this hot yoga class. Like that kind of was the icing on the cake. So I had an hour to leave campus, get home, shower, and then pass out. It was some of the best sleep I've ever had that was like sober.
Actually, the more active I am, the harder it is for me to sleep because my body is always set to go. And then I've been getting up at 5 a.m. since I was a kid. So I naturally just wake up after about 4 to 6 hours of sleep unless I'm like work myself into like a slump of like nothingness. But that's like an accumulation of like days or an entire week of not getting sleep. Hence, today I slept without an alarm clock on. But I knew I was going to do it on purpose. I just meant to plug my phone up. But you got me talking about grapeseed oil, avocado oil.
This is my lane.
Right. So I know who I'm going to put you on with next time if you come back. You coming back?
Of course, I'm here for it.
Okay, cool. I got a stylist that you guys could just go crazy talking about variations of ponytails, and I'm just gonna look at you like women looking at guys talking about sports, and that's just gonna my whole face is just gonna be a collection of memes. So I'd like to thank you for coming out. This was fun. This was fun. I got to learn a lot about you and playing Twister, standing up, and clean your chicken bones, people, or you will be judged. Thank you for coming out. Whether you agreed or disagree with everything that was said here, we appreciate your time and your energy. Leave a comment, see what we can do better, what we can do, what we did well, what we didn't do right. Or do you clean your chicken bones? Do you like dry or wet lemon pepper? Do you like drums or flats?
Do you wash your feet?
Do you wash your feet? Oh, men, do you wash your feet or do you let the soap collect at the bottom of the shower?
That should be a first date joke. I mean, question.
You know what? That is something that needs to be said. But if you do think, but most people don't know to think about that until you run into a person that has that concept, and it's like, yeah, that's where we are now.
Let me find out it's too late. I told your friend
Why you got a black toenail?
On Instagram.
And you already, and you already got your uniform over at the house.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what part 2 is gonna sound like. This has been Live from the Living Room. Thank you for coming out. Peace. That was fun.
I've never done this before, so this is a good first experience.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Between me and you, it's the for me. Between me and you, it's the
Joseph got the vibe.
money on my mind. I be on my own time. I will what